Alicia West here, the abundance coach, and I am here to help you go from sabotage to success. But first, let's talk about it. What is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is damaging behavior directed at yourself. But what I want to talk about specifically in this video is how it shows up in your life, why it shows up in your life, and what to do about it once you've acknowledged that it is real and very, very present. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one, how does self-sabotage show up in your life? There's various examples. Everybody has their own struggles that they may or may not go through. And one of the ways that self-sabotage can show up is in your relationships. So imagine this. You went through a breakup and say that you were cheated on in that first relationship. That's unfortunate. And I hope that none of you ever have to go through that. But if you did, here is something that you may notice. The next time you get into a dating scenario, or you're like courting somebody or doing the things or whatever, floats your boat, those thoughts that enter your mind and say, I feel as though this person is doing the same things that said person did that I broke up with. Well, oftentimes if that narrative isn't justified with some type of truth behind it, that could very well be you self-sabotaging unintentionally, because all you're trying to do is protect yourself from hurt. But at the same time, you're also not giving this person a fair opportunity to show you that they're different. Another way is in your business. As we all know, sales is absolutely essential. And in order to be successful in sales, you have to show up in the marketplace with a level of confidence. However, if the narrative in your mind is telling you, I'm not going to make these offers because no one's going to listen and nobody wants to buy my stuff, and honestly, I wouldn't even buy for myself, that is self-sabotage. You really have to get down to the nitty-gritty of what you're saying to yourself and why you're having those conversations. And we'll get into that a little bit later. Another way is from a physical standpoint. If you are setting a goal to lose weight and you say, I'm going to get rid of all the burgers and all the ice cream, and I am going to go to the gym after work and I'm going to get it, and I am going to be summertime fine. But when push comes to shove, you find yourself making excuses about how tired you are, and I worked a full day, and you know what? I just need to relax and watch TV or whatever instead of going to the gym. Or you know that you're not supposed to order that takeout and you're supposed to cook at home and make that healthy meal. But you find yourself saying like, man, it's getting late. And I'm just going to go ahead and just, call that favorite Chinese spot. That is self-sabotage, ladies and gentlemen. And that manifests very, very much so in your life is a real and present thing. Whether it's not losing the weight, whether it's not making the sales that you desire, or whether it's killing off relationships before they ever get started. So those are some examples of how self-sabotage can show up in your life. Now let's talk about number two, which is why. Why is it that I'm doing those things? Like, Alicia, I'm hearing what you're saying, but why? Why do I do that? And honestly, I'm glad you asked, because I don't know. No. It could be a number of things. For example, it could be a lack of confidence. Oftentimes it's not spoken on, but many of us struggle with confidence, and that is okay to admit to. But only you can change that narrative for yourself, and you have to choose to walk in your gift and understand that if you don't believe it, nobody else will. Another trigger could come from unhealed trauma. Something may have happened when you were younger that has caused you to accept something in your subconscious that manifests in your life daily. So for example, you may have grown up in a household of poverty. And now you're living in this life and all you can think about is, man, I can't afford that, or I can't afford this. And that's a form of self-sabotage. And you have to realize that there's a source, and in order to fix the behavior, you have to go back to that source. Another thing is that oftentimes as we grow in our early childhood, not even in our early childhood, at any point growing up, even as an adult, people will say things to you and it resonates with you. And oftentimes those things are not true. So if you had a job at one point and they said, man, you're terrible at sales, and you allow that to become part of your identity, guess what? You're never going to be good at sales, and every single conversation that you have pertaining to that particular subject is always going to be negative. Now, let's roll into part 3. Okay, Alicia, I heard you. So yeah, I do the things like I self-sabotage, and you know what? There is a trigger behind it, but so what? Like, what am I going to do? Awesome. Here are 3 things that you can do to start fixing that. Number 1, stop thinking. When an opportunity presents itself, whether it is a new date or a new job opportunity, just take action. Not allowing yourself to think and just executing and then going back and analyzing your results is an awesome way to overcome and move yourself out the way. Because oftentimes when we stop and we think about it too much, we will never take action, and failing to take action will always keep you from yielding the result that you desire. Another thing that you can do is to question the source. So when that thought runs into your mind and is saying like, you can't do this, instead of saying like, man, I can't do this, say, why am I thinking that? Why do I feel that way? And oftentimes when you question that doubt, you'll realize that it's not even coming from a valid space. And another thing that you can do is to change the narrative. So instead of feeling overwhelmed or saying like, you know what, I don't have time to go to the gym, or I'm never really going to lose that weight, say, oh my goodness, I am so excited to have that body that I desire, or to look this way, or to make these sales, or to date this person. Change the narrative, get excited about the end result, and you can watch your life change. I hope that this was helpful. If it was, let me know in the comments. Subscribe, ring the notification bell. You do the YouTube things. And with that being said, I will see you guys at